Nikola Jokic, now an NBA champion. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about the rise of dominance for Nikola Jokic. With the Nuggets winning Game 5 in a defensive struggle, Nikola Jokic has now led the Nuggets to their first ever NBA championship in their 47 years of history in the NBA. Nikola Jokic now has entered into the conversation of best player on the planet, if he has not already done that. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So, here it is. What is your reaction to Nikola Jokic becoming an NBA champion? And man, does it feel awesome for Nikola Jokic. What Nikola Jokic did this season for the Denver Nuggets was very impressive. The rise of Nikola Jokic was indeed very impressive. Nikola Jokic was not your typical 5-star recruit coming out of high school and dominating college hoops. No, Nikola Jokic was an international player that was having to play overseas in order to get his name into the relevancy of NBA scouts. Was he an international superstar like Victor Wembanyama or Luka Doncic? No, he was not. He was just another guy. And when Nikola Jokic was taken with the 41st pick in the 2014 NBA draft, I highly doubt that anyone thought that he was going to become a future star player. Did people think that he might become a decent rotation player one day? Sure. But when you take players with the 41st overall pick, you're not thinking, oh man, how is this guy going to become a future NBA champion? They're not thinking, oh, is he going to be a future 2-time MVP? Are they thinking, oh, he's going to be the best player on the planet? No, they're not going to be thinking that. They're not thinking that at all when you're taking a player with the 41st overall pick. When you think about taking players with the 41st overall pick, you're thinking, okay, maybe this guy can fill in and play some solid rotation minutes. Maybe he comes in, serves as a trade piece for some team. But when you talk about Nikola Jokic, man, this guy is a special talent. He is a unique talent. People didn't recognize that he could see the game a whole different way. He reads defenses like a computer. When you talk about the Miami Heat defense, you think about how they're the toughest zone defense to play against. They throw the most amount of looks out of any other team in the NBA. But Nikola Jokic just slashed and dashed that zone defense. Sure, that zone defense took away his opportunities to become more of an assist man, but it gave him more opportunities to become more of a scorer. Nikola Jokic is going to be a top 5 NBA center of all time when it's all said and done, or at least he's on that trajectory right now. And I want to talk about a quote that Michael Malone said after they won the championship last night. He said, quote, "It talked about evolution in this game, how you go from a nobody to an upstart to a winner to a contender, and a contender to a champion. The last step after you're a champion is to be a dynasty." And I could not agree more with what Michael Malone just said. I thought what he said was freaking awesome. I thought what he said was freaking inspiring. And you talk about the rise of the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are a nobody team. Alright, the Denver Nuggets are a small market team, at least on paper. But the game isn't played on paper. It's played on the basketball court. When you talk about the rise of the Denver Nuggets, you think about how the Denver Nuggets started out as some irrelevant team in the NBA that a lot of people did not remember back in the mid-2010s. Then they became an upstart team. That was the first year the Denver Nuggets made the NBA playoffs. Then they turned themselves into a winner. That was the year where they got to the conference finals in the bubble. Then they turned themselves from a winner to a contender, which means that during the 2 years that Nikola Jokic was dominant and becoming an MVP force and taking over the NBA, that means that the Denver Nuggets became contenders over that time, because some people talk about how the Nuggets became title contenders. Not necessarily the casuals, but that was something that I was thinking in the back of my head. Then they become contenders to champions, which is what the Denver Nuggets just did. Now, if the Denver Nuggets can maintain this current core that they have, and if they can continue to stay healthy the way that they have, they can become a dynasty. Now, of course, in the NBA, it's really hard to stay healthy over the course of an entire season and the NBA playoffs. And although the Denver Nuggets are NBA champions, and I give them tremendous credit for that, you guys have to understand how hard it is to maintain health over the long course of a decade, because it's really hard to win one championship, but it's a lot harder to win multiple championships. If you don't believe me, just ask the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis Antetokounmpo how hard it is to win multiple championships. Now they had to blame it all on Mike Budenholzer, their head coach, and even though he's a champion, he got fired as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks simply because he hasn't become a multiple-time NBA champion with Giannis Antetokounmpo as his best player on his roster. So when you look at it from that perspective, the Denver Nuggets, they've done an incredible feat by winning the championship that they have. They absolutely earned it. Michael Porter Jr., Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, they all played great roles for the Denver Nuggets this year. They all knew their role really well, and they played it really well as well. And then you got Jamal Murray, who really stepped up this year and who bounced back from his injury tremendously. They didn't trade him away when they had an opportunity to do so. They told him that he was going to come back better than ever, and boy were they right about that, because Jamal Murray has become an excellent player for the Denver Nuggets, and he needs to be on an all-star team next year, man, because Jamal Murray needs to stop being slept on, because people act like he's just a decent player, but he's so much more than a decent player. This guy is a star right before our very eyes. Yeah, his stats might not say it, but when you look at the eye test and when you look at his clutch factorness in it, you're thinking, wow, this guy is really underrated. Why do people not talk about him as an elite point guard in the NBA? How does LaMelo Ball have more all-star appearances than Jamal Murray? There's something not sitting right with that with me. But that's just me talking about Jamal Murray versus LaMelo Ball as an example. But when you talk about Nikola Jokic, man, Nikola Jokic is truly a superstar in the National Basketball Association. Nikola Jokic can do it all. He can be a scorer. He can be a passer. He's an excellent defender. I don't know where people keep getting this narrative that he's not a great defender from, because all I see with Nikola Jokic is that he's often in the right position on defense, and he's good at stealing the basketball and getting rebounds when his team needs the rebounds to be done. I think the only reason why I think people think that Nikola Jokic is a bad defender is because of the fact that he's white and unathletic. Sure, he's not going to jump up 12 feet in the sky. Sure, he's not going to fly all the way across the court for a chase from behind kind of block. But what Nikola Jokic is going to do is that he's going to be in the right defensive positions more often than not. He's going to play hard on that end of the floor, and he's going to do whatever it takes for his team to win. When your best player is also a leader, that helps out a lot tremendously as well. And Nikola Jokic, the rise of him, I've just been amazed by his rise in the NBA. I think people should have realized that his rise was coming in much sooner as well. People keep saying that Nikola Jokic was just a late bloomer, but honestly, Nikola Jokic was a lot better earlier than what people thought that he could be. There's a reason why Nikola Jokic won all those MVPs earlier on in his career. He was a two-time MVP before the season started, and he should have won his third one, but Joel Embiid stole that. I'll blame NBA media and voters for that, because they were too scared of being racist for voting a white man to win MVP 3 years in a row, and they thought, oh my god, if we vote a white player to win 3 MVPs in a row, that means we must be being racist. Who cares how dominant he is? Let's go ahead and vote for the black man, because the black man is supposedly always the victim. And look at what happened. Now you guys just robbed an MVP from Nikola Jokic, but I'm sure Nikola Jokic doesn't care. He's probably laughing it off right now, saying, who cares if I didn't win MVP? Because you know what? I'm an NBA champion, and I won Finals MVP. And honestly, hardware doesn't define Nikola Jokic from a personality perspective. All Nikola Jokic cares about is winning. And Nikola Jokic got his wish. He's now an NBA champion. Congrats to Nikola Jokic. People need to start giving him his props. I'm even going to go as far as to say that he's the best player on the planet. You guys can have Giannis Antetokounmpo, you guys can have Jason Tatum, you guys can have Kevin Durant, you guys can have Joel Embiid, you guys can have all those players, but if you want me to have the chance to take the best player on the planet and I get the first crack at it, I'm taking Nikola Jokic, because Nikola Jokic knows how to get points on his own, and he knows how to play defense, and he knows how to get the rebounds, and most importantly, he can facilitate. I mean, if there's a center that can facilitate and revolutionize that position, it's Nikola Jokic, man. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world, and I'm taking him even over Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, there's no disrespect to Giannis Antetokounmpo, but Giannis Antetokounmpo is not as good of a passer as Nikola Jokic is. Nikola Jokic is the whole package. Nikola Jokic didn't even have one bad game in the NBA playoffs. You can't say that about any other superstar in the NBA. I'm taking him as the best player on the planet. It's quite that simple. People need to start giving Nikola Jokic his flowers and his credit, because he really is that dominant. I mean, you can throw out all the stats to me. You can talk about this. You can talk about that moment. You can talk about, hey, Nikola Jokic is not fast enough, not big enough, not strong enough, not the best shooter in the world. But Nikola Jokic, he does a little bit of everything and is the best overall part of the game. It's not about how many points you score. It's not about how many assists can you rack up in one game. It's about what can you do to win the game and make the hustle plays. And Nikola Jokic has it all. Anything you can ask Nikola Jokic to go do, he can go ahead and do that. That's the amazing part about Nikola Jokic, and he has truly taken over the NBA. And the fact that people didn't realize this much sooner, shame on y'all for being lazy and not doing your own research, because Nikola Jokic is truly that awesome. So that is why it feels awesome to see Nikola Jokic becoming an NBA champion. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @DustinTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinTran and @SportsGuyTalking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.